Welcome to another podcast of the current situation at Manchester United. I know I was supposed to do a review on the Southampton game versus Manchester United yesterday, but yesterday, man, I was on E, bro. I was on E. I didn't have any gas in my gas tank. I was feeling low on energy. I wasn't feeling at it at all. I had a very intense football game Sunday morning. Like I tell you guys that Sunday football morning games is better than Sunday morning sex. At least in my opinion. I can't speak for most of you guys. Maybe guys are better stroke game than me. Highly unlikely. I mean, you can talk up a big game, but it's all about the work and the work show out. So yeah, yesterday I had a game in the morning and it was very it was very intense, I'll say that. So I didn't have the energy to actually do a follow up. Plus, I didn't watch the match, so that's number one. I didn't have the energy to actually do a video podcast, although I wouldn't make it long anyway. But I just didn't want to make a video podcast and do a bunch of rambling or just talk about nothing. You know, what I would call do a lot of empty talking. I do a lot of talking, but you're not talking in sense in the video podcast because I was very tired yesterday, man. I was literally on E. Like my left leg, it's getting better now. But yesterday after the match, bro, I could hardly walk. I could hardly walk, and I'm in my early 20s. I could hardly walk. Is me, and yeah, man, it was a very good workout in the just to kick off the week. You know, you have to start the week now. You have to start the week in good graces. So that was a very good football game for me. Your bro scored a good amount of goals, just a handful, about 4 or 5. Yeah, I had a very good game. Um, Before getting to the belated, a brief belated review of Manchester United's game against Southampton, there's a few football matters that I would like to bring closure to. I just want to talk about. Oh yeah, first of all, I saw everybody knows that football is back, which means that fans are now allowed to come back into the stadium if they have taken the vaccination at least twice, if not once or twice. I think it's preferably twice because why not? Everybody has to be safe, so why not double the vaccination? Yeah, everybody's back in the stadium. I'm kind of getting distracted. Everybody's back in the stadium watching the football match. You could say football is back, and rightly so. So of course everybody is happy because for the past 18 months people were not supposed like people they weren't allowed in the stadium. So everybody is now belated and they're happy, they're over the moon that they're back in the stadium and they can watch the side that they fully support play football. What am I addressing? I saw this video clip of Nice versus I think it's Marseille in the French league, League that's what it's pronounced, League um Jesus um League yeah, and Depay was about to take a corner, a corner, you know, against Nice. And I don't know what is up with the football supporters, man. I don't know if they had their time of the month. They're suffering from mood swings, bipolar disorder, whatever the case is. A few of the fans from Nice were actually throwing bottles at Dimitri Payet. Now, I'm not sure if some of those Nice fans were closet West Ham fans, because some West Ham fans felt away when Dimitri Payet, the streets will never forget. Some fans are going to literally feel away. They felt away past tense. They felt away when Dimitri Payet left the club. Hold on. Yeah, my man felt away when yeah, the fans of the club felt away when Dimitri Payet left West Ham because they thought this was like the Canio, isn't it? The main man for West Ham. The main man for West Ham prior to Depay, Payet was actually Andy Carroll, isn't it? He was the main man. Now it's kind of balanced because right now West Ham has a side, so they're not really relying at least fully on just one player to make the difference. They literally have a decent squad to work with, so they're like a unit right now. They're not one player based. They have a unit that they can work with. It's sync with. They function well. They have a side managed by Moyes. This is me, so they know what they're doing. But when Pie left West Ham, their fans didn't really sit well with that. But anyway, Depay he was battles were thrown at him. Again, I don't know if these were closet West Ham fans that found themselves in France, given the chance to be in the stadium, but they threw bottles at Dimitri Payet. And my man retaliated and threw bottles back like, bro, what are you trying to do? I didn't used to play for your club. So why are you trying to do that to me? I'm not Luis Figo. I didn't used to play for your club. So why you treat him like this? Yeah, man, people is like when they were on lockdown, other fans in like staying indoors. They're not indoor persons. They want to they want to go outside to play football. They want to watch football. They want to actually go to the stadium and watch football. And yeah, it's messed up, man. Because a fan literally came on the football pitch, was trying to physically confront the Pie and Pie in front of his face. Like, bro, what are you gonna do? You throw a bottle at me? I'ma mash your face, boy. I'ma mash your face. So yeah, man, like people literally came on the pitch, like trying to have a fist fight or something, like it's a war on a football match. Like, bro, this is not World War III, man. Why are you guys trying to fight? So yeah, I think a lot of football fans, man, they I don't know if it's let me move this out of the way for a bit. I don't know, yeah, cause my phone I guess wanted to be in the cam shot as well. Um, I guess the fans didn't want to. They were trying to like put their rage on the pie, the Dimitri Pie for some dumb reason. Like, bro, I know that you've been in closed doors and lockdown. I know that you have been given a chance to be in the stadium to watch football, and you just can't control emotions. Like, bro, what are you doing, man? Maybe I don't know the context of it because I wasn't watching the game. But based on that clip, that clip tells a lot, man. It tells a lot. Um, what else I wanted to say? What else I wanted to... Oh, crap, man. I'm still tired from yesterday, that's why. Um, alright, let's get into the what I saw. Something on my mouth. Let's get into what I saw of the match. My sleeve is alright? Okay. Let's get into the match that I saw, the brief highlights that I saw of the Southampton match versus Manchester United. When I saw the lineup, I was still at home. I was still at home when I saw the lineup, so you could say that if I stayed at home for a few more minutes, I could actually catch the match live, or at least a few minutes of the match. When I saw the lineup, I knew there were going to be fans that were not going to be very happy with the lineup, because the lineup, in terms of personnel starting, persons were not expecting a few persons to start. Person were saying, yeah, Rafael Varane, my man got a new haircut, isn't it? So my man giving a new haircut, I'm pretty sure he's going to make the cut to be starting for Manchester United against Southampton. He's going to make amends on the pitch, man. He's going to strengthen our defense. Because as you say, bro, that defense is the essence of getting a clean sheet. So with that being said, I'm sure that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is gonna start Rafael Varane tomorrow. He didn't start. He didn't start. Lindelof actually started. David De Gea. Persons in hindsight would say David De Gea shouldn't start because the goal that he actually conceded. Dude, no keeper should not be conceding that. I'm sorry. That shot wasn't even clean. That shot, I'm not even sure if that was a shot. That was just foot making contact with a ball. So I don't even see that as a shot, bro. A shot, that's not even a proper shot. It's like he was trying to pass the ball into the net. That's not even a shot. And David De Gea actually conceded it at his near post, I would say. I don't think David De Gea was even blocked by a defender in front of him. Maybe someone could make the arguments. Maybe I could double check. But man, either way, man, that goal should not be conceded, man. That goal should not have been seen the latter day. And this is gonna be a very good video podcast. So Manchester United got in it with a scribble goal from Mason Greenwood. It wasn't the cleanest of shots, of course. I think it's deflected, but they all count. Goals always count. So it was actually a 1-1 draw. No, the downside was that Matic actually started. And I actually said that Matic shouldn't be starting, because I didn't know that he would start when I did my preview on Friday. But I said that my man should not be starting against Southampton, given that they're a pressing side. They press as a unit. So given that they press as a unit, Matic, given his old age, again, my man is 2 whiskers away from being on a pension and being a retiree. This dude should not be starting against sides that press. They try to oppress their opposition with their pressing style. This dude should not be starting. And even beyond Matic starting, the midfield was not creative. The midfield lacked creativity. It lacked a positive image. It lacked panache, if you're French. It lacked beautiful colors. It lacked creativity. There was no creativity in the midfield. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a timid manager. He is a timid manager. You have creative midfielders at your disposal. Yes, you're using one as a left winger, and that is good. You have a creative winger, that is good. But in the middle of the park, again, where people say in football that the game is won in midfield. If you win the midfield battle, you're going to win the game. The mind of the game is in the middle of the park, is in the center circle. That is where the operation of the game is operated by. And whoever you put in that center circle, whether bad, poor, good, or you can't kick a ball, that is going to dictate how the game is going to be played. If you have a midfield that is not creative, there's not going to be enough creativity. For one, the midfielder is collecting the ball from the defense. 2, when the ball is given to the midfielder, based on the midfielder's ability to pick a pass, ping a pass, distribute a pass, whether it's over the top or into space, is going to be based on the talent of the player. Man, my eyes scratch me, man. What's wrong with you, boy? Best believe that when I'm not doing these video podcasts, like, nothing is not wrong with my face. But when I'm doing a video podcast, all hell and gloom is wrong with my face. Like, bro, what is up with you, bro? Man, I want this attention on my face. But I was saying that, yeah, the game is based on who is the individual, the personnel in the midfield. Matic can, he can pass especially back in his day, but at this moment in time, back in the day is not happening, bro. I mean, you can have moments, but it's not going to be consistent. And it's apparently clear that that is not your game no more, man. That's not your game, bro. So, based on the midfield that is starting, I mean, I can go on for days, bro, but I want to keep this video under an hour because it's going to be pretty much at least a 50-minute video. I'm not going to lie to you guys. So get your popcorn, get your champagne, and we'll go at it again. Is me, and be entertained. Now, Donny van de Beek is on the bench. He's not starting. Paul Pogba is playing as a left winger. Bruno Fernandes is at least on paper number 10, but we all know that he's a false 9. Why is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not starting Donny van de Beek? Why is he starting pragmatic midfielders that are not creative enough? Donny van de Beek is a very creative midfielder. He's very technically gifted. Dude, you're from Holland, yeah? You're from Holland. This dude is from Holland. He's from the Ajax Academy. So you know, when man is from the Ajax Academy, you know my man can play ball already now. You know he can play ball. He can pass. This is, man, my eye again. This is a part of what has been embedded in his style of play. That is how he was grown to play. That's how they were conditioned when they were smaller in the academy. This means just like La Masia. Man, my eyes is just bugging. That's how they were conditioned when they were small. When they get bigger, we've seen the talents, man. Van der Vaart from the academy. Wesley Sneijder from the academy. Clivert from the academy. Very creative forward. Huntelaar. Donny van de Beek. Etc. 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 We can go on and on and on. The players in the midfield of Manchester United needs to be called into question, because this is going to make or break Manchester United season. We have been crying out for a defensive midfielder. There's approximately 1 more week and 1 more day, if I'm not mistaken, at least about 8 more days left in the transfer window where we can actually get. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear that. I know you guys can hear that. Insects outside noise. We have 8 more days until the transfer window closes, and we have the opportunity to actually sign a defensive midfielder. A few of them have been on Manchester United's short list for a while. Ruben Neves, read that again. Ruben Neves, Declan Rice, Saul Niguez, who is more like a box-to-box. Of course, Eduardo Camavinga, Leon Goretzka. I'm pretty sure I'm missing out others. So yes, we have midfielders that is on Manchester United's radar. The thing is that we don't have such of a bad midfield, because we have Andres Pereira just coming back from loan. Is me. So we have the midfield to actually go for the title. But my thing is this, and this is where I want what you guys have to see in the comment section. Maybe I'm just rambling, but I want what you guys have to see in the comment section. Our midfield, in the name of Matic, Scott McTominay, and Fred, is going to cost United the title. It's going to cost United the title because it's not very creative enough, man. Scott McTominay is not creative. Fred on his day can be creative, but that's not every day. Matic is just Matic. We have Donny van de Beek on the bench. Why is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer not starting Donny van de Beek? Is there some beef between Donny van de Beek and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Because I don't think Donny is that type of person to be petty, to be antagonistic. I mean, he seems like a real chill dude. So I don't think he's that type of dude. Maybe he has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, he's dating Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's daughter or something. If he has a daughter and Ole doesn't approve of it, I think Donny is probably married. But probably he has Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's daughter as his hoe chick, his side hoe. Who knows? And he's not happy with it. So he said, just because you have my daughter as a side bitch, I'm not going to start your bitch house in my starting level. So you're going to rot on the bench, and you're going to go astray on the bench, because I'm not going to start you because you have hold up my daughter and I don't like it. Could be a point. Um, Pogba could Pogba, dude, Pogba should not be starting in the pivot. He can do a job in the pivot, but that should not be his calling card. That is not his main claim to fame. That's not his MO. He should stay on the wide, on the left hand side as long as long as possible. When Rashford comes back, Rashford should be on the bench. Yeah. So not like when Rashford comes back, he's gonna come back in the starting level. That's not how football works. That's not how football works. He has to work his socks off in training to show that he's match fit. He needs to be won the approval of the manager to be starting in the starting lineup. Pogba right now has cemented his starting place on the left hand side, given his performance in the first game of the season. Now, Pogba, as creative as Pogba is, Pogba can be creative, can be more expansive in his creativeness if the midfield is also creative, but at the same point be covering. What do I mean by that? I'm not the best person at explaining stuff, so you might be watching this and you might be saying to yourself, okay, what is this dude talking about? I understand that because I'm not the best person at explaining stuff. I could tell you an answer to a question, but if you ask me, okay, so how did I arrive at this answer? I'm dude, I'm just not the person to actually break it down syllables by syllables, pieces to pieces to explain to you. You see me? So just because I know the answer to this or I know football doesn't mean I can break it down. There are a lot of footballers, basketballers, and persons that were top tier in their sports. But when they try to management or when they try to have what do you call it? Mentees, they could mentor those guys. Some of them could, but they could mentor those guys. Some of them just couldn't break down the game to them like that. Some of them just don't have that capability, and I don't. So, this is what I'm trying to say. I can understand that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to have cover for the defense, because that's what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to do now. He's trying to have cover for the defense by playing a double pivot. Close double pivots. This is Matic slash Scott McTominay. This is Fred slash Scott McTominay. Vice versa. If you're playing this double, you can get away with a double pivot at home if if the forward line and the wingers are doing most of the creativity. You see me? So I get that you're trying to get a clean sheet at home, which we didn't get away from. I get at Leeds at home, versus Leeds at home. But at home, bro, we should not be playing a double pivot, but we can get away with it if we play a double pivot at home. You see me? Because if the wingers are creative enough to compensate for the lack of creativity in the midfield, then it's well and groovy. But there are some persons like me that will be saying, okay, this is basically papering over cracks. Yes, the midfield is not creative enough. Yes, the attacking four is creative enough to back up the lack of creativeness or lack of creativity from the midfield, but the midfield needs to be worked on. The midfield needs to be worked on. The midfield, again, is where the game is won. Who wins the midfield battle wins the game. If you were to take away most persons believe that Messi, when he was at Barcelona, and God knows it was a good time he was at Barcelona, people think that when Messi was at Barcelona, people think that Messi literally was the main man to give them the trophies. People are talking like if Messi didn't start for Barcelona, then Barcelona wouldn't get no trophies. Dude, the main dictators behind the infamous 4-3 of Barcelona in 2010 to 2011 and 2014, 2015. In 2010-2011, it was David Villa, Pedro, and Messi. Messi was the basic dictator of the front three. The reason why Messi has a very good chemistry with the front three is because he has chemistry with the midfield three as well. Messi is the linkage between the attack and the midfield. Messi is a false nine that will drop and allow Pedro and Villa to run in spaces. You know what I'm talking about? So Villa is right here on the left, Pedro is on the right. Messi would drop to link the midfield of Xavi and Iniesta and Sergio Busquets, I call him Biscuits, to link the attack of Pedro and Villa. Messi can do his business here individually, but collectively, the midfield of Barcelona, again, that's Xavi, Pedro, not Pedro, Pedro is a winger. Matter of fact, Pedro moved to Lazio. Good times. Xavi, Iniesta, Sergio Busquets, again, I call him Biscuits. That is the midfield that made the difference. That is the midfield that made the difference for Barcelona winning the Champions League and trebles and having an influence on his side most of the times. Because most of the times, bro, I could go to the bathroom and literally leave. If I'm going to the bathroom, I could leave Xavi in possession of the ball and Messi and Iniesta knocking the ball, and I could probably spend 5 or 7 minutes in the bathroom. And when I come out of that bathroom, I know they're still on the ball. I know they're still on the ball. Now they could score a couple of goals while I was in the bathroom, but the reality is that the possession is strong. The possession is strong. Why I said that? Why do I say that? Because most of the game, the midfield is in possession of the ball. They are the brain of the not only attack but of the game. Without that midfield, man, that midfield would be lackadaisical, man. It would not be creative enough. With the passing ability, the brains of Xavi, with the flair, the finesse, the midfield maestro prowess of Iniesta, with the intelligent, competitive nature of Sergio Busquets as the number 6, that midfield is complete. That is what we call a complete complementary midfield. One defense, one passes the ball forward, one is like a more of a number 10-ish, you could say. That is Iniesta. Iniesta is more of the number 10. So he has license to go further forward than Xavi. Xavi would somewhat drop back to play long passes or to play long short passes. Or he would dictate the midfield. Busquets would dictate the midfield from deep, but that wasn't his main claim. His main claim to fame was to cover the back four or try to press. Because Barcelona was a side that would press and oppress the opposition and take ball in possession. That was their main claim to fame. Pep said it, bro. My man basically said that if Barcelona loses possession, they're going to try to get the ball back in 5 seconds. That's how strong their pressing game is. Right? So, without getting lengthier, or I don't want to mix up myself and I don't want to mix up you guys. Maybe you guys can come out and say, yo, I was listening to your video podcast and man, you went on this long segue about Barcelona, bro. I thought we were Manchester United supporters. Why are you talking about Barcelona? Barcelona draw their game against Bilbao, man. We don't care about Barcelona. I'm making a point. I want to make a point in relation to our midfield. I can never recall a time where Barcelona played a double pivot. Well, Barcelona doesn't play no double pivots anyway, but I cannot recall a time where Barcelona had a midfield that was slow, lethargic, had no creativity. I cannot recall that day. Barcelona was always about creativity, dynamism. They were not one-dimensional. They didn't look to one player to make the difference. Although most person will say, well, Messi made the difference because Messi scored most of the goals, so he made it. But Messi wouldn't score most of those goals without the midfield, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Look how Messi played prior. No, I'm telling you. Look how. Go on YouTube after this video. Go on YouTube and see how Messi played with Xavi, Iniesta, and Sergio Busquets. And look how Messi played without Iniesta and Xavi. Sergio Busquets is there, but he's deeper. It's a different Messi, man. And because the midfield, well, Xavi went to Qatar to play ball. Iniesta left in 2018, I believe, or 2019, and he went to play in China. When those two partners of the midfield, of the three musketeer midfielders, left Barcelona, that Messi had to drop back. Messi knew that he couldn't wait until those two midfielders made a difference. Messi had to literally drop back to accommodate other attackers to make the difference. That's why Messi is not scoring as much goals as he was with the midfield of Xavi and Iniesta. That's the reason. That's the reason. Messi had to do it like all on his own after 2018 and 2019. Yeah, Messi had to drop back, drop back, man. Like, drop. You could literally think the dude is a number 8. He had to dribble. In few times he had to tackle. But he would still make the difference. Look at Real Madrid. Real Madrid has Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric. They have a balance. Kroos is a Xavi of Real Madrid. Modric is the Iniesta of Real Madrid. I wouldn't say Casemiro is Sergio Busquets, but I would say Casemiro is a dog biter in the midfield. Like he's a workaholic. He tries to win the ball back. He's a dirty dog. He does the dirty work. And with that midfield allowed Real Madrid to win the Champions League 3 times consecutively from 2016 to 2018. Without that midfield, Real Madrid wouldn't even win anything. It's the midfield that made a difference. So I'm pretty sure you guys get why I'm going on this lengthy segue with other clubs. It's because if we want to compete, if you want to meet the expectations of winning the Premier League, we have to be in a league of our own with other players that are creative in the midfield. Look at Manchester City. Man City has creative midfielders in droves. Not to dwell on them long enough because I hate Manchester City because they're our rivals. They have Grealish, they have Bernardo Silva, they have Mahrez. I wouldn't necessarily say Sterling is creative, so I'll take him out. Gundogan, they have who else? They have I know I'm missing out someone else. I'm pretty sure they have other midfielders that I'm missing out. Shevchenko is creative. Walker is creative when he can be. You see me? So, of course, Kevin De Bruyne. Who's to know? All of those midfielders, bro, they are the difference, man. Do you see Pep Guardiola playing a midfield? I forgot Fernandinho. And Fernandinho in his old age is still creative. Do you think Pep is going to play a midfield of Delph and Fernandinho as a double pivot? You think he's going to do that? No, again, Fernandinho is creative in his own right, but he's nowhere near as creative as a Kevin De Bruyne or a Bernardo Silva, given that they're different positions in midfield, but still, he's not creative as them. Or a David Silva when he was there. Or Yaya Toure when he was there. Or a Samir Nasri when he was there. Yes, no, dude, Pep is not going to play a double pivot of Delph, and Fernandinho. That midfield is going to be dead waters, man. Sergio Aguero wouldn't be scoring the goals he would. Even though City would have 2 decent wingers to support the striker and 1 number 10. the double pivot would, well, he wouldn't play a double pivot to begin with, but definitely if he was playing a double pivot, he would not play Delph or Fernandinho. So what makes Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knowing Manchester United for over 25 years? Why in good graces would this dude start a double pivot? What are you scared of? Conceding goals when you're conceding goals already? So what's the difference? You're already conceding goals. We're already conceding goals. We haven't had no clean sheet this season. We conceded against Leeds. We conceded against Southampton, and you've played a double pivot. And it's not that the double pivot is a problem. It's the players you're playing in the double pivot is a problem. The Mark Fred has to go, bro. It has to be brought to the sword, man. It's just not creative, bro. If the midfield is not creative, how are we going to get a lot of chances, man? Because, see, we got away with it against Leeds, like I told you guys in my last video podcast. The reason why we got away with it against Leeds is because Leeds have no common sense. Leeds knew that Manchester United is going to counter-attack and attack at home, given the fan support. Given the 50 to 75,000 fans in the stadium. So why the hell would Leeds play a high line to try accommodate the attackers and the midfielders to take advantage of the high line that is played to Manchester United? That's basically Leeds just bending over backwards and pulling their pants off. And Manchester United just doing them over. And that's what they did. 5-1 was the scoreline. Other side is not going to be as stupid and stubborn as Leeds. They're not going to leave that high line space to Manchester United. Again, bro, when RB Leipzig played a high line against United at Old Trafford, we bashed him 5-0. Rashford got a hat-trick. That was, I can't remember the man's name. He's actually managing Bayern Munich right now. He went to greener pastures. He think he can win trophies. So we'll see about that. Bayern fans, comments below. But yeah, man. So we have to clean up this midfield, man. We cannot be starting Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay should not be starting, and this is no hatred against Scott McTominay, but dude, as much hatred as you're getting right now by Manchester United fans, right now is not a good look for you to be starting. I know you're seeing those comments. I know you are. You know you're seeing those comments. People calling you Scott McToilet, Scott McToenail, Scott Mc. The names are just endless. I can't even mention more because it's just the different names are on my tongue. I can't even pick out which one I should say first. You're not a creative midfielder, man. Persons are questioning what is your role in midfield. Yes, we know that you're a midfielder, but are you a number 8? Are you a number 10? Are you a registrar, which you're not? Are you a defensive midfielder, which you probably are? Right. I get why my man is kind of timid. He doesn't want to leak as much goals, but bro, you're conceding goals already. So what's the difference? Have one defensive midfielder that doesn't move. Pitch his tent in the base of the midfield. Tell him to don't move. That's where he's living. In the base of the midfield as a number 6. You give him bread, you give him water, you give him milk. Tell him to live right there. So you have a number 8 that has the license to be a box to box, so he can be in the box of the opposition and box on our own half, because we own our own half. When he's without the ball, that is Donny van de Beek, and as another midfielder, that is Bruno Fernandes. Of course, he's the number 10, so he's going to get license to score goals, to try create a thing or two. But in terms of the pivot, man, put Donny and put Fred in there. I don't think Fred is disciplined enough. So you could say Matic could play as the base. Donny van de Beek is good enough to play as a number 8. Isn't me? He's good enough to play as a number 8. He's good enough to play as a number 8. Well, no offense to Donny van de Beek, but Donny van de Beek, 6 feet. This dude is probably like 5'11" or something. This dude is not going to make it in the Premier League because the Premier League is all about competitiveness. It's a aggressive league. You have to be tall and strong to play in the Premier League. Santi Cazorla was boss in the Premier League. Fabregas was boss in the Premier League. Nasri was boss in the Premier League. David Silva was boss in the Premier League. Juan Mata was boss in the Premier League. Mesut Ozil was boss in the Premier League. A few more were boss in Premier League that were not 6 feet. And I'm pretty sure Donny van de Beek is not going to be the exception. He's not going to be the exception. Now, is he going to get a few hard tackles? But still, that shouldn't stop him from starting, bro. David Silva, man. Nobody could stop David Silva, man. So I don't know what's with this height myth and this physical myth that, man, you have to be physical to be essential in the Premier League. No, it's not about, dude, you have Bill Busters like Vestergaard, Bill Busters like a Ryan Shawcross, and I saw small players beating those tall players. So height doesn't have anything to do with it. Physicality has nothing to do with it. No, you should watch yourself, but that doesn't stop a player from being creative or being effective and efficient in Premier League. Bernardo Silva, shoot, I could go on and on. So yeah, man, I could go on and on, man. I could go on and on. The midfield, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to be less timid, man. Yes, you don't want to leak goals, but you're leaking goals already. Take a chance. You cannot have the rewards if risks are not taken. When you take risk, you can be awarded. When Sir Alex Ferguson played a midfield of Anderson, and best believe that midfield was not the best of midfields. When my man played a midfield of Carrick and Anderson, Anderson was the creator. Carrick pitched his tent in the base of the midfield, and he was playing the part. He was like the Pirlo or the registrar of Manchester United. He didn't attack. My man was cemented at the base of the midfield. He was like in front of the back four. So he didn't get the license to attack. I know he could score a few goals. If he scored a few goals, it was good and gravy, but that was not his MO to score goals. It's not his MO to score goals. So, on going forward, this is our second match. Our second match has been done and dusted in the Premier League. We have to move on, man. We have to move on and take this as a learning lesson, not as a loss, because we drawed. Yes, the Saints call it truce versus the Red Devils. So they had a truce. They had a reckoning. So they didn't want to fight anymore, although we have a game against them next year. But the midfield should be the main. The midfield, I know I'm missing the words, but the midfield should be the spokesman of our attack. The attack cannot score a lot of goals if the midfield is not creative enough. The only time, let me tell you the exception. And even in this exception, the midfield has to be sorted out. Everybody knows that Liverpool doesn't have a number 10. They don't. They do not have a number 10. Their last number 10 was Coutinho that left in January of 2018. I would argue with anybody that Liverpool from 2017, I would even say from starting with since he left Coutinho, because he's no longer the number 10. Dude, I would argue this. From Liverpool 2018 to 2000 and at least 2020, they don't have a creative number 10. They do have a creative midfielder. This is the thing that I would say though. They have creative midfielders, but they don't have a number 10 that stands out. Wijnaldum is a workhorse. Fabinho is the number 6. He plants his booking at the base of the midfield. You see me? He plants his base of the midfield. Henderson is not creative. He's a box to box. He's not creative. He can play a side pass, but he knows he's not creative. Him being captain doesn't make him creative. He's not a creative midfielder. With Ronaldo, Henderson, Fabinho is he can play a good amount of passes, but that's not his main claim to fame. And Klopp knows that. That's not what Klopp wants from him. The only midfielder that Liverpool has, and this is why people are saying he's not a Liverpool type of midfielder, because Liverpool doesn't play that style of football where midfielders dictate what the front three or what the front four does, is because Thiago is not used to a front three making all the contributions to the side. If that makes sense. People are saying that Thiago doesn't suit Liverpool based on the style of play, and that could be true because Liverpool has workhorsemen like Keita in the midfield. They give the ball to the front three to make the difference, not the midfielders making the difference. They feed the front three making the difference, not the midfielders making the difference. The midfielders feed the ball to the front three. They make the difference. The midfielder you could say that is creative and he drops back is obviously Firmino. So you could make that argument, but he's a number 10, but in the system he's not a number 10. He's a false 9. Don't get it twisted. I already mentioned that Iniesta was a number 10, but Messi was a false 9 in the side. This is me. So there's a difference now. So the only way Liverpool got away with it without, and they didn't even play a double pivot, man. That's another thing. They didn't play a double pivot. They played Wijnaldum, who is creative, but he was a workhorse man. So he would make tackles. He would put a foot in. Fabinho definitely would put a foot in. He was not the main creator of the midfield. That's not his main claim to fame. He's a defensive midfielder, and he can play also right back. And Henderson is not even creative, so let's not even go there. Thiago is the difference. When Thiago was signed, person was saying, this is not a Liverpool sign. What is this dude doing here? This dude should be in Barcelona or Bayern Munich, making the difference in midfield. So, yeah, man. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the description. Because again, bro, this is the thing. Not to bore you guys, but I just want you guys to understand tactics and football ideology. Football is more than kicking a ball. Football is more than scoring goals. Football is about creation. The world wouldn't be in existence if there was no creation. So how do you think a goal is going to, unless it's an individual goal, and even if it's an individual goal, that individual goal has to be created. You see me? It has to be created. So, back to the midfield of Manchester United. It's good that Bruno is playing at least on paper as a number 10. Everybody knows that he's playing as another number 9, an unorthodox number 9. But, man, my back is scratching me. But the midfield of Manchester United should be called into question, man. It needs to be called into question. We need to work on our midfield, man. Because we can literally lose the league if we don't work on our midfield. We have 8 more days to get a defensive midfielder. Just 8 more days until the transfer window closes its door, until the winter transfer window. Donny van de Beek needs to be starting games. He didn't sign for Manchester United to be a bench marker or to have any residence on the bench. If he wanted residence on the bench, he would stay home and watch games. But given that he's a professional football player, that's not what he wants. He wants to actually be playing games. Lingard can put a shift in, but he shouldn't be playing the double pivot. Lingard should be a number 10 running around and scoring goals. The effectiveness of Jesse Lingard was due to how David Moyes used him at West Ham. That's how he get the best out of Jesse Lingard. Jesse Lingard says his favorite position is as a number 10. Andres Pereira should not be starting, but he can actually put a shift in the midfield. You could say he's in his own right. He can be creative. I guess some people still call him pre-season Pirlo. But yeah man, he can still put in a shift, man. But the midfield should be Donny van de Beek as the number 8. Fred, I question his discipline because Fred has a tendency to go up. I want him to cement his place as a number 6. Scott McTominay, based on physicality, could probably be utilized as a number 6. But Scott McTominay has a few goals in him. I think he can probably take a good amount of shots. But Matic, given his experience, I think Matic is the best option to be starting as the number 6. The baseman. He should not be with no other player. The baseman, the box player, and the number 10 somewhere around here. Getting into a few stuff before I close this video podcast. Man, it's 51 minutes and I told you guys that I would keep it under, or at least it would be 50 minutes. Okay, this is what, and it goes back to what I've been saying for the past and last 30 minutes. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer criticizes Fred after Manchester United's draw at Southampton. It says here that Manchester United manager singles out Fred for criticism after his own goal during... Oh, it was an own goal, huh? Yeah, he had a good game against Leeds, but that goes back to what I've been saying, bro. When you have space to play in, you're going to look good. But how are you going to look when that space is deprived? How is that space going to look where there's no vacancy to move? How is it going to look, man? How are you going to look? See, this is why Fred cannot be playing as a defensive midfielder, because it says here that, however, he struggled at his Fred to replicate showing at St. Mary's. Man, you guys can't write an article, man. He was dispossessed on 16 occasions in 76 minutes while being dribbled past 3 times. Fred should not be starting as a defensive midfielder. If Fred is starting, he should be playing as a number 8. When this dude was at Shakhtar, I think it's in Ukraine or something like that, that dude, Fred was playing good ball, man. He was playing good football. He could actually score free kicks and score goals. Fred is not a defensive midfielder, and he has not been utilized properly since his move to Manchester United. But not to dwell on the midfield, because I just spoke on that. But the midfield needs to work, man. We need a coach to work on a midfield. And I question what Michael Carrick is doing. Darren Fletcher is not in that hole again. He's in the more of the hierarchy. He's in the upper room, like with the CEOs, the DTF. Not the DTF, that is down to, you know what I mean. But the DOF, that is Director of Football. Yeah, he's making things made clear about certain signings in relation to Manchester United. So yeah, man, I'm pretty sure this is not the first time criticism has been levied to Fred in terms of his midfield position and his lack of discipline. Who knows? Alright, this is another piece of news, and this is where I'm going to talk about Anthony Martial in a second. Poor Manchester United's Anthony Martial is lightweight, plays like he doesn't care, and could be a bad apple as a forward's ability called into question after a shock Southampton display. Now, as I've mentioned before, there are persons that have different personalities. Persons are different in their expression and in their character. So, because persons are different in their character and expressions, if a person is not exhibiting behavior that is seen as normal, or it's seen as the anomaly to how a person should be behaving, persons are going to have a misconception about this person. Anthony Martial was been at Manchester United for over, I would say, 6 years now. 6 years? No, 5 years. 5 years. Hold on. No, actually 6 years. Yeah, 6 years. Yeah, he's been at Manchester United for 6 years now. Martial is one of those players that is very. He can be misjudged easily. Martial is one of those players that can be misjudged easily. Martial has the ability to be whatever he wants to be. That's the good news. Martial has the ability, the capabilities, the tendencies to be whatever he wants to be as a football player. What Martial has been criticized by this dude named O'Hara. He works with Talk Sports. He's basically saying, my man is playing like he doesn't care, like he has this aloof, devil-may-care attitude playing football. Like, bro, that's not what a striker should be doing, man. He's saying that he's shocking. This is not the first time I'm hearing this criticism of Martial. And of course, I've been critical of Martial in the past. I've questioned his attitude. I've questioned his loyalty. I've questioned, not in relation to moving, because I don't think Martial is going to move for now, but in loyalty in terms of what he brings to this side, man. You have to have loyalty, man. You have to have loyalty in your in the players that you play by. And see, Martial is not an aggressive player. I don't think he's one of those players that would Cause see, here's the thing. Again, I don't want this video to be longer than an hour and 30 minutes, man. Because Martial is an introvert. Martial is not a Paul Pogba in personality. He's not a Jesse Lingard personality that loves to be bubbly. He doesn't like to be in the media. If Martial scores a hat-trick, he's not going to be the one on the post interview talking about, yes, man, I scored a very good hat-trick. It was a very good hat-trick. Yes, my side supplied me with the balls and at balls. That's on suspect as hell. Yeah, but my the midfield supplied me with deliveries, and I scored those deliveries like a Uber drive, and I was very good in scoring those goals. He's not that type of player. He's just not a talkative player. I can understand that, but this is where I'm going to criticize Martial a bit, and I know he doesn't care what I say about him. Because I'm just a dime a dozen. Because I'm not the only person that is levying criticism to Martial. But I say this with love, bro. You cannot make it as a top tier player with this devil may care attitude. You just can't. If you're having this devil may care attitude, the big fat question is, why are you playing football then? Why are you doing something that you don't really care about? Are you doing it for money? Yes, you're getting good money. You're getting about 198 per week, if not 210k per week or something like that. I don't think Mbappe, well, that's a lie. Mbappe is getting probably about 400 or 300 or something like that. But man, Mbappe was a fan of yours, Martial. A fan of yours. I remember when this dude in 2016 said a tweet and he said that Martial, he was saying Martial and he had most like exclamation points, exclamation marks. Well, I'm trying to make a point, but the exclamation marks after Martial's name. Like the dude was a fan of Martial. And look how the fan of Martial is a better player than Martial right now. The difference is attitude and mentality. The difference between Martial and Mbappe is attitude and mentality. Yes, Mbappe is more extroverted and more out there. He's more lovey-dovey. He's more open. Man is an hour. But this thing have to be said, man. This concept of Marcel not caring, it's a problem because on one end it could be true. It could be true that he doesn't care, and person said that behavior exemplified in a player is telling on a player, oh, my brother just went live. My brother went live. For the fans, that's his YouTube channel. You guys should check him out. For the fans, that's my brother. But I'm saying, man, Martial's attitude or lack thereof, well, he has attitude. Most persons do have attitude, whether it's good or bad. But Martial's attitude has been called into question for a good amount of years now. And because it's been happening over a amount of years now, I don't think Martial's attitude was called into question when Van Gaal was here, because Van Gaal got the best out of Martial. Martial was like the main man, bar Rashford, the main man for Manchester United, with the pie in the squad. And the pie is doing things for Barcelona. Martial is one of those students back in high school that was always smart, but he was not making the mark on final exams. He's that type of student. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have come across a student in your class or a classmate of yours that was always smart, always talented. He knew the answers like that. When it came on to the final exams or the mock exams or the end of term exams, my man was flaking. Not flaking because you don't want to get zeros on your exam if you flake on the exams, but he's not making the marks, man. He's not making the marks. But you would think this dude is smart. You think this dude is smart. So my thing is this, man. Martial has to work on his mentality. I get that he's an introvert. I get that. So of course he's not going to be as bubbly, trying to get publicity, and that's understandable. But man, you have to work on that mentality, man. Martial last season was good in terms of his he's good as a dribbler. He can hold the ball. But Martial has to work on his attitude. Because, see, bro, you can have all of the talent in the world, and this is why a lot of persons idolize Cristiano Ronaldo and they, to a small degree, demonize Messi, because Messi doesn't work hard as Cristiano Ronaldo. And Ronaldo doesn't have the talent as that Messi possesses. So there you could say they're different, they're both sides of a different coin. One is based on hard work, determination, and discipline, and talent, of course, but talent is not his priority or his primary trait. While Messi is heavenly sent, he's sent on heaven, sent down from heaven. He's heavenly gifted with the football talents from the football gods. God bless his soul, is me, and he has the talent to show on the pitch, so he doesn't have to work hard. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. There are a lot of players that were talented, but they thought that just because they were talented, they didn't need to work as hard as other players that were less talented. We can say, man, Lukaku can do no. Lukaku's first touch is, Lukaku has the first touch of a black stallion donkey. That man can't control a ball. That could be true, but look what he's doing with the talent that he does possess. The reality is that my man should be played to his strengths and not his weakness. He can work on his weakness, but he should utilize and emphasize his strength traits. That is why you use That is what's known as the strength perspective. You use your strengths to gain, man. See, this is what I've been saying, bro. Alright, I'm going to read an excerpt. Um, to me, that's the person that's talking about Martial. Martial is the embodiment of footballers who have an inordinate amount of talent. True, I've stated that before, and most of you guys know that by now. But simply don't have the psychological application or innate strength required to compete at that level. Let me repeat that. But simply don't have this, man. Something in my eye, man. Trying to block my reading skills. Man, behave yourself. Simply don't have the psychological application, meaning he doesn't have the mentality, the mentality or the attitude, because attitude is based on what your mentality is like. So if your mentality is poor, your attitude is going to be poor. Tottenham is catching hell right now with Ndombele because my man's attitude is poor. He has bags of talent as a midfielder. I don't know if it's a French connection. It's because my man is French as well, and he's in Tottenham's camp. But the new manager, Nuno, is catching hell with Ndombele. He actually said he's not starting. This dude is not starting. He has the talent, but he doesn't have the mentality. And the mentality is going to dictate what the attitude is going to be like. So again, bro, I'm going to read this for emphasis, bro, so you can sink in here, so. And listen to me when I read this. Because some people think that a player having all talent can make it to the top. And not necessarily so. There are a lot of talented players that didn't make the cut. They did not make the cut, or if they made the cut, their cut when I say made the cut, that means their prime or their best years as a footballer, coming into their own, coming of age. Some players didn't come of age for over 2 years, man. Ronaldinho spent 3 years as a top player. Three. Robinho didn't even spend I mean, he was good, but in terms of his peak, I don't even think this dude ever peaked, man. I think he just lost his mojo overnight or something. Like someone just sprayed juju on him or something. Just sprayed juju or something like that. But this is what I'm going to read again, man. To me, that's the person that is in the article from Talk Sport. Martial is the embodiment of footballers who have an inordinate amount of talent, which is true, but simply don't have the psychological mentality, psychological application, or innate strength required to compete at that level and not be a key component of Manchester United's team. Then you have the disillusionment of not being a key component because they have moved on a little bit from there, and he'll perhaps become a disruptive influence. So that's why he said that Marcel can be a bad apple in the squad. Marcel he can be a very good player, but he needs to get a self-help coach to try do some tweaking up here. So because Marcel, he may not, he does show it on the pitch, but I think Marcel has a few personal issues to deal with. I'm not saying he's mentally challenged or mentally inept. I'm saying he has a few psychological blockers that is preventing him from being a top player. There's a few things that is blocking his way from being a top player. Marcel is a good player, man. We have seen the talent that he's shined through. He was our main man in the 2015-2016 season. He was our main man. And seeing how Marcel goes by the wayside with Mbappe, man. Again, Mbappe was a fan of this dude. And look how the fan of Marcel is making the headlines like that, getting more publicity. Well, Marcel don't need publicity because he's not that type of person. See the difference. See, all right, this is where I want to close the video podcast because I know so many guys want to hear my house rumble for 2 hours, but this is where I have to bring this closure to, man. Martial has to work on his mentality. There are comparisons that persons are saying, well, Marcel is just a laid back type of dude, you see me? He's laid back, he's chill. You see me? My man is just cool, calm, collected, man. Cool like, heaven cucumber, man. That's so corny. My man is chill, my youth. I don't care if it's corny or whatever, man. The man is chill, man. Okay, it's chilled. Okay. But even if you're chill, bro, you have to show some aggression on the pitch now. You want to score goals, don't you? You have to score goals, don't you? You can't just stay in the middle of the pitch and say, well, it's just one of them days. Hold on. It's just one of them days. No, man, you have to go. You have to go score goals, man. Cause person are saying, well, Berbatov was the same way. Berbatov was the same way, but the difference was that when Berbatov was scoring, Berbatov was showing his ability on the ball. My man was dropping, man, creating and linking play. Marcel does the same, but Marcel is not trying as hard, man. And you could say both of them have the same body language, you see me? But someone has to speak to Marcel about this. Someone have to speak to Marcel about this because if Marcel doesn't want to be at the club, he has to made known that he doesn't want to be at the club and stop pacifying his sulkiness on the pitch. This is like he's trying to directly, well, it's not directly, he's indirectly speaking in a sulky manner. Directly talk and say, yo, I'm not happy at the club, I want to move on. Marcel can be anything that he wants to be, but what's preventing him is his mentality. I was listening to a Instagram video. It was a short video. I think this coach was a coach of a NBA side or an NFL side. I'm not sure. But he asks this question. This is where I'm going to wrap up. He asks, what makes the lion the king of the jungle? What makes the lion the king of the jungle? Some may say, well, I don't know, because probably the lion is fierce, the lion is strong, the lion is God, so the lion is king. No, that's not what the lion is king. Next, I don't know, bro, because the lion gets the best food, isn't it? Well, what provokes him to get the best food? Because to be the king, you have to get it. To be getting the best food, you have to be king. So what makes him get the best food? Well, I guess he's the most powerful animal. No, elephants are stronger than lions, and lions eat elephants. Well, I don't know. They're fast. They're probably the fastest. Nope. Cheetahs, jaguars, and cheetahs. I think jaguars is the name of an animal, or I know it's the name of a car, but I think it's named after an animal. Yeah, jaguars and cheetahs are fast, way faster than lions. So don't even go there. I guess it's based on they live for a long period of time. Not necessarily. The reason why lions are king of the jungle is because of their mentality. That is why. You believe it, you become it. Your mentality becomes your reality. The reason why lions are the king of the jungle is not because they are the best animals, not because they are the strongest or the fastest, it's because they believe they are the best. The reason why Ronaldo trumped himself to greatness is because he believed he's the best. When he was at Manchester United, I think there was this reporter that asked a few players like Anderson, Ferdinand, who they believed were the best players, and Ferdinand said, "For me, I think it's I think he said Diego Maradona. I think he said Diego Maradona. I think he said and he said, for me, I think it's Diego Maradona." And Ronaldo jumped in and said, "Me." And most person were laughing like, "Okay, who's this cool by saying he's the best?" Like, bro, come on for the screen. Come on for it now. Come on. Come on for the mic. Next. And this one was like, yeah, Diego Maradona. And they were having a good laugh, but the essence of that video is showing his mentality. From his days at United, he always believed that he wanted to be the best, and he became the best. Not everybody is going to have that mentality, that drive, that assertiveness to be what they want. Martial doesn't have that drive. Martial doesn't have that drive. He's a passive person. I don't think he has a drive. Person might say, well, Mbappe is not as talented as Martial. True. But who is the best player right now? Not in terms of talent, but who is getting the most publicity right now as a best player? I think is Martial getting that type of publicity because of his lack of form at Manchester United? I think he's been getting that type of publicity. Man, this is a long one. 1 hour and 60 minutes. I know this is going to be a long video podcast because whenever I start speaking for a long time, my mouth starts getting dry and I have no water right beside me, but my mouth starts getting dry and I start to like talk. I can't even talk when I'm talking for a long period of time. But this is where I'm going to wrap up, man. Marcel needs to work. I know Marcel's not going to listen to this video podcast, but most of you guys, I know a small few of you guys that watch my video podcast. And again, if you guys watch my video podcast and you appreciate what I'm saying, show your appreciation by liking the video or disliking the video. Subscribe to the channel, click that post notification bell, post your comments below in the comment section, post your comments down below in the comment section. Marcel doesn't have that drive, man. Marcel doesn't have that drive. And someone needs to drive him to having that drive, is me. Someone needs to say, yo, just because you're talented doesn't mean that you're going to be a very good player. There are a lot of talented flops. I know some of you guys don't remember Gourcuff. Gourcuff was a French midfielder that was destined to be the next Zidane. Johan Gourcuff. He played for Lyon. Samir Nasri, another French player who's from Algeria by descent, or that's more that his neck of the woods. I told you guys, when I'm talking this long, I'm not able to speak, so you have to go see with that. It's just a gift of mine, I guess. It's just a gift of mine. Samir Nasri had all bags of talent. I'm not saying that he was a flop, but he could have gone a longer time as a top player than he actually did. Was very good at Arsenal, good for a couple seasons at Man City. Bad attitude, man. I'm gonna bring it home to Manchester United. What's that dude's name again? Ravel Morrison. Sorry Ferguson say he's probably the most talented player he saw at Man United, which is kind of a stretch for me because he didn't play an official game for Manchester United, if my memory serves me right. But this dude was talented, man, but his mentality was weak. It's either two things: his mentality was weak, or his attitude stinked like a bag of trash, man. It was stink, man. It was stink. You have to have a positive attitude if you want to be a top player, man. Look at Haaland. Haaland is not a sulky type of player. My man is always happy. Mbappe is always happy. Even when he missed the penalty versus Switzerland, Mbappe is a happy man. Well, Messi joined PSG, that's why he's happy. And he has the opportunity to go to Real Madrid to be the new face of Real Madrid, so he's happy. Dude, Mbappe is always happy, man. Look at Mbappe's fat face. He's always glowing with positivity, man. So he's not going to no. Marcel, I think Marcel is content with where he is in football. I don't think he has that drive to be the best to be. I don't think he's that type of player. I don't think he's that type of person. I just don't. I just do not see that. I just do not see that. So with that being said, I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section below. Leave your opinions, whether you agree with what I've been saying in this video, or you disagree with what I've been saying in this video. Show your appreciation. Leave those comments down below, and I'll show you guys at the latter end of this week to do a preview for the next game. I'm out. Peace.